Hello friends, this is Ganesh. Hope you're doing great. And in this video, I'm going to give explanation about a famous or frequently asked question about the difference between RFC and BAPI. Okay, because we have maybe everybody has this. Everybody just came across the area where what is the exact difference between RFC and BAPI, and some point we figured it out. So I would like to just share whatever I have gathered in this video, especially for these three areas. And the question is when to use what. We have FM, so function module, we have RFC. So can I go with the RFC or can I go with the function module? Or can I go with BAPI? So these are the questions that's coming here and there. So I would like to just give an explanation about these three and especially the differences between RFCs and BAPI. And probably I will just take another video which explains about BAPI in detail and then how to create a custom BAPI also. Okay, but in this video I'm not able to go very detailed about BAPIs. So only a few transactions, and I'll show you some business objects and how to figure out the business object, how to test the business objects, just to understand about the BAPI a little bit more. Okay, that gives actually a better understanding between the differences between RFC and BAPI. Let's get into the slide. So we'll start with function module because that is a base, and function module is, if you start learning the function module, it's coming under a concept called modularization technique. So that is nothing but whenever there is an option to use the frequently used code more than once or in different modules, normally we go with modulation technique. And one of the technique is function module. Okay, so function module is like it has import export parameter. You can call it from any different program or any different function modules or classes, whatever, wherever you want, you can just call it. Okay, it's a reusable concept. And a little bit more about function module is there is a one more layer called function group. Normally they gathered similar or the same business scenarios. They just group all the function models together and they formed a function group. Normally function group plays a role for business scenario. So one particular business scenario, we have function group, it has more than one function module. Even a custom developments also, if you're going to design a particular function groups, we gathered these functionalities are coming under one function group, these functionalities are coming under another function group. So it depends on the design, we can just make many function groups and gather relevant function modules. Okay, so that is the idea of function module. And the next level of function module is the RFC. The reason behind the remote function module evolves is function module can be called within the SAP system, so only the SAP system. But normally in a business, we don't have only one system to maintain the data. We have a lot of systems involved. So the same functionality can be called from outside of your SAP system. In that is the case, we don't want to develop anything. It's like anyway, it's already available. So the idea would be, so why can't we move this particular functionality to the next level? So they call it as remote enable function module, meaning the same function module can be called from outside of your SAP also. So that is the next step of function module, remote enable function module. In short, we call it as RFC function modules. This can be called even from another SAP system or non-SAP system. Okay, so it's clear. There is some business scenarios can be called within SAP, go with function module. That should be called outside of your SAP or another SAP system, then please go with RFC, remote enable function modules. Okay, so that is for RFC function module. So the next level is BAPI. And one more point before getting to the BAPI, I'm going to explain this concept from the product perspective. So why the product developed this function model, why they released RFC, then why they released BAPI. So once we understand the design from the product perspective, then it's very easy from the developer. It's very easy to understand. Okay, for our scenario, we can go with RFCs or we can go with BAPIs. Okay, so that is my first explanation from the product level. So before getting to the BAPI, we'll go to the next slide. Okay. So these are three set of objects or methodology functionality which we are going to understand, and we are going to try to understand, find the difference. So the difference between these two I just explained. Within SAP system, please go with function module, and outside of your SAP can be another SAP system or a non-SAP system. Please go with RFC function modules. Okay. So in short, this function model can be called your within SAP system, and these two objects like RFC function models or BAPI objects can be called either inside your SAP or outside of your SAP. So that can be another SAP system or non-SAP systems. Okay, so this is very clear. I believe everyone knows about this. So how to call? So what extent this object can support or can be called? Okay, this diagram will explain that. And now, so we are going to see the difference mainly between RFC and BAPI. So maybe everyone has this or had this experience. RFC also can be called outside SAP, BAPI also can be called outside SAP, but what is the difference? Okay, so let's have a few theoretical things, then we'll get to understand about the design of BAPI, then we will get a very clear idea about RFC and BAPI. So common things between RFC and BAPIs are able to call within and outside of your SAP also. So I have an RFC, yes, I'm able to call in my same server. I have a BAPI like create sales order or change sales order, get list of materials, company code, whatever it is, that is going, I want that details. Yes, that is also you are able to call from your same SAP systems. Okay, these are common things. And both are remote enable function module. So that is a very basic one. So if you want to create a RFC or if you want to create a BAPI, that particular function model should be selected as remote enable function module. So these are common one, and very unique or the difference between these two things are calls. So simply they say direct call and no direct call. So what is the meaning of direct and no direct call? But technically, if you see, direct call also possible in BAPIs, right? So direct call is nothing but I'm going to call the function model RFC, remote enable function model, in my program or in my SAP system or non-SAP system. So same thing I can do with BAPI also. Then how I can understand the statement called direct call and no direct call. So to understand this no direct call option in BAPI, we have to go little bit more about the BAPI design, how the BAPI is designed from the product perspective. Okay, so very basic idea we have is function group, or it is a remote function or remote function call or BAPI. Everything is designed for a particular business scenario. Okay, so to solve, if you take sales order, so create sales order, change sales order, display sales order, get list. So relevant functionalities are gathered or designed or developed as a function modules, and that is going to be gathered and is going to be coming under one function group. Okay, very basic understanding. Great. One step ahead, they have option called business object repository. We call it as BOR. We are trying to we are trying to understand the BAPI design from the product perspective. Okay, under this we have a multiple business object types. Okay, business depends on the business scenario. We have a different business object type. Sales, one business object type. Material, one business object type. Like company code relevance, customer, vendor. These are coming under different object types. Okay, and inside the business object types we have a methods. Very generic term is called methods. So you just think about from the product perspective as well as outside of the product. So if you're going to explain this scenario to an applicant, a non-SAP guy, you can't say BAPI. So he doesn't know what is BAPI and everything. So if you say we have a business object and this business object has a methods. Okay, that method gives whatever is required from your end. For example, if you go with a company code, so if you want to see give a company code, you want a company code informations or list of company code, list of sales order, or a detailed information of one sales order, we have a different methods. Each functionality has a different methods which is coming under business object type. Okay, so with the help of business object type, non-application developer or a functional business analysis, we have to say if you want to get information from SAP for a sales, this is a business object type. It has lot of method. So technically it has a BAPI, it has a method also. Okay, in detail, in technical very detail is we have a BAPI or we have a call transaction. in either way we have to achieve it. Either you can create a sales order through BAPI, or you have to create a sales order through a transaction. Okay, we call transaction like BDC concept. Okay, either way you have to create it. So these are very technical from SAP perspective, but non-application guys, we have to say, boss, we have a business object type and these are the methods. Whatever methods is applicable, you can use it. So the same way depends on the business need or industry solutions, we have to give the business object type. So SAP designed that level. So create a business object type based on the business scenario. So just give the business object types. It listed everything. It just listed all the methods. Whatever methods you want, just call it. Okay, so that is the understanding about it. It has a BAPI. So under the business object type, you can have a BAPI and maybe a BAPI. Sometimes you have generic method. It doesn't have a BAPI, but still it works as expected. It works. Okay. Maybe future they may replace the method as a BAPI also. That is from the product level. Okay, clear? So this is the basic understanding of the business repository, business object repository. So here, how we connect this to a direct and no direct call. If you give the business object type to the non-SAP people, okay, so they can able to call the methods under the business object type. They doesn't know anything about BAPI. They doesn't know anything about method. It's a very generic term about the BAPI and method. Under the business object type is method. So I want a method to create a sales order. I want a method to change the sales order. I want a method to display the sales order. Simple. Okay, they doesn't know about anything about BAPI. So here, the no direct call plays a role. So it's nothing, or it's not relevant for the non-application guy to call the BAPI directly. So call the business object, call the relevant method, whatever is required for their application, use the method, get the data and use it. Okay. So here there is no need to call the BAPI directly. So that is the meaning of no direct call in BAPIs. So everything's coming under business object. To get understand more, I will show you in the transaction also. Okay, to see the business object type, under the business object, what are the methods and how to test it. Mostly business object we used, or I can say in the business documentation, the product documentation, they mentioned very clearly, they designed this business object type especially for business workflows. And they extend the concept to storing the BAPIs and other stuff also. Okay, so mostly the people who are working or worked in the workflows, you are very understanding about the business objects types, right? Normally it starts with BUS and some numbers. Then SA84 is a transaction to see the design of any business object type. And then we have a transaction like workflow transaction. SW01 is a transaction to test your business object type. So both transaction we will see in the system. So these are the some examples. So one of the business type under the BOR is bus 0002. Okay, so that is relevant for company code. So they have the BAPIs for that to get the details, full list of company code or a particular details of a company code. So you go with the get detailed BAPIs. Along with that, they have a methods. So method is nothing but again it's a set of code, nothing big much. So method doesn't have a BAPI. So that's what you are very clear about it. Okay, business object has a methods. Some methods has BAPI, some method doesn't have a BAPI. But still, both are having a code, both are having the functionality that will give the data as expected from the application. Or means SAP or non-SAP guys. Clear? Then okay. Maybe I can come this slide after showing all the two transaction system, then we'll come to a conclusion when to use what. Okay, so then let's get into the system now. So let's get into the transaction where we can see the design of a business object type. SA84 and go here, business engineering, business object browser, business object type. So you can type, normally everything start with bus, and very famous business object type is 20332 is for sales. Okay, so let me go with bus, execute it. So it gives all the business object types and then description. So if you go to the first one, company code, it has options like interface, key fields, attributes, and everything. Probably we'll see about details about these options probably while creating a custom BAPI. But now I'm go with methods. So methods has an option. So these are the options or like methods, I can say methods where it returns something. It returns data or it performs some operation. So method is nothing but it could create a data in a SAP system, or it could change the data, or it could display the data, get the information. Very simple. These are the things which is going under every method. So every method has a code, normal ABAP code, which performs either one of these operations: create, change, display, delete. Nothing much. Okay, and a few methods has a BAPI. Whenever you are seeing this option, the green one has a BAPI. Okay, otherwise either you can click, it will take you to BAPI directly. So if I click, it will take you to the BAPI directly, or if you double click the tick mark, it gives the details about this particular method. And then so method name, what is the business object, when it is status, whether release or not, release number, and everything, a description. And here it's synchronous, it's not a dialog. And go to ABAP, you're able to see the BAPI name. So this is nothing but an API function. Okay, this method has a BAPI. It's involved. BAPI is involved in this particular method. Okay. And then maybe another method where I can say get objects method or anything, any of these one, it doesn't have the BAPI, just double click. It shows the same thing. What is that object type, release, and everything. So this is actually a dialog. Okay, this is actually a dialog one. And if you go to ABAP, this is not an API function, but it has a method. It has something to perform. Okay. So this is about the design of the BAPI. So the same thing, you can just go to bus 2, what is the number? 2032. This is for execute sales order. Just double click. So you'll get a methods. So methods, you have copy methods, confirm, create, display. Even you can see that the create, it doesn't have a BAPI, right? So change, so here doesn't have a BAPI, but you have create from data, sales order, create sales order data. Just double click. So it is absolute. So preference, don't use it, but still you have a BAPI on it, but it's an absolute way. So don't use it from the product level. So they're not so means they prefer don't use this option. So here I have another one, change. Okay, create from data. This is also not able to use. Create sales order. What is a BAPI? Yeah, create from data. Okay. So and then simulate sales order and change. Okay, so create from data 2 is okay. We have, okay, I click the BAPI directly, double click. So maybe these are the versions. They started with create data and then data 1, then absolute data. Now they create data 2, then absolute data 1. And now go to ABAP. So here, this is the released one. You are good to go with this BAPI. Okay. And then these things and change sales order. Double click. This is a dialog option, so it doesn't have the BAPI. So we'll see in the test level. We'll see what is the dialog option. Dialog option is nothing but it just call the transaction or with the relevant transaction which change the sales order V02. We'll see that also. So here, this is the way to understand the BAPI first. Then you are able to adapt the difference between RFC and BAPI. Okay. And one more point which I have to convey here is if there is a particular business scenario, if you take RFC, probably it has a function group. It doesn't have a business object, right? And this is actually, you have to think little bigger level, not like I want the UI application. I have a portal want to create a sales order. I can give one information like one BAPI, so they have to call directly, right? They don't want a business object for that. And suppose there is a design where the UI application is going to use the full business solution of SAP. Probably if you take the entire purchase, they want to connect SAP for quotation, for purchase requisition creation, for purchase order change and delivery, everything they want to connect SAP. So in that case, they want a set of BAPIs or a method to perform this business scenarios, the business solution. In that case, we have to provide a business object, right? They want only one few information from SAP. RFC is more than enough, right? So think about that level. So the question is whether I have to go with RFC or BAPI. You have to think about the design, whether you have to provide a simple solution or a data from SAP. RFC is more than enough, and it's going to be a one business solution is going to be used by the application. Better go with the business objects. Okay. So try to understand the design of BAPI, then it's very easy to understand the difference between RFC and BAPI. Okay, so now I'll show you in SW01 to test the business objects. So now you think about from the non-SAP person, means your application. So we are going to provide, this is a business object, these are the methods, use it. So he doesn't know anything about BAPI, he doesn't know anything about the BAPI name and all. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so pass 0002 and I'm going to use test. So these are the attributes and the methods are available. So if you want to create, just click create. So it will ask you want to suppress dialog. I'm just go with not select like empty one. And what is the correction number? I'll go with 4566 and then object key. I'm not sure what is this object key currently, but I'm just giving some values and execute. So it calls, okay, it calls the transaction to create the, what is this transaction? It's a customer, right? It's going to create the customer, oh sorry, company code. A123, something like this, and currency USD. Save title, country, okay, it could be US, that's fine. It's going to be save, it's a configuration, right? The customizing request. So the idea behind the method is this method is able to create the data, using the business object. Okay, so this is one of the method. It doesn't have BAPI, and if something has a BAPI, it shows a little different. So go back. So get list. So and I'm going to execute this. So it will give the list of company codes. So the people is going to use the business object and the method name. So not the BAP name. So this is nothing but no direct call. So they directly go with the object as well as the method name only. Clear? So the same thing you can just check around with your sales order creation. Test it. So you have a create, data 1, data 2, data, and you have a edit. So everything is available here. Okay, get list. So here I don't know actually what transaction is going to call, nothing, right? The BAPI name. So execute. Somehow it creates the sales order and give the sales order number back to my application. Simple. Okay. So now just to come to the last slide. So now you have to take a call whether I have to go with the RFC or BAPI. Forget about function module or RFC. It's very simple. Within the system, go with the function module. Sometimes you may call a RFC for your functionality. That is the functionality which you are looking for. But is it RFC? It's fine. Calling all the three inside the same SAP, it doesn't have any big difference. Okay, you can call whenever, depends on your business need. But you have to take a call between RFC and BAPI as depends on your business scenario. Are you going to design a complex scenario for an entire business solution? Yes, definitely you have to go with the BAPI. Okay, but this is going to be a one-time activity, or they want to create just a purchase order, nothing more. Is nothing wrong. You can go with the business object still for that. Just provide the business object for purchase order, and they will go with business object call with the relevant method to create a purchase order. Okay. Otherwise, simply you can, if it is more customized, you can develop a customized remote function module and you can call it. Okay. So hope you will get a clarity about RFC and BAPI now, and the difference between RFC and BAPI. Probably you don't just see only the points. Try to understand how it designed from the product level. Once you understand the design, then automatically you are able to provide, or you are able to deliver what is the actual difference between that RFC and BAPI. Okay. Hope this gives a better idea about the difference and the design of especially the BAPI. Okay, just play around with this, and if you have any doubt, please let me know. Thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video. Bye.